deserves the support they need to overcome life's obstacles. That is the motto for our next guest, the woman behind Whole Heart, a nonprofit organization committed to providing a safe and supportive community.
Yeah, that's right. It's where people can come together to share their struggles and find comfort, encouragement, and so much more. We now have the Whole Heart Center's Executive Director, Dr. Denise Rollins. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, I have to say, you know, I looked at the website and I saw your book. Let's just talk about the Whole Heart Center.
Well, the Whole Heart Center was created to help people to deal with the grief from life, regardless of their ability to pay. You know, a lot of times people are going through and they may not be able to afford help. And so we made a decision a long time ago that we would help people no matter what. What's interesting, though, is that when I started this, it was because of my own journey with grief from death. And as I started helping people, I realized that people grieve life just as much as they grieve death. Any change, the disappointment you thought you were going to be at a certain place by a certain time, a divorce, even something good like the kids going away to college, we grieve that and we don't always understand it. So that's what I do. I help people to understand what they're feeling and then make a life change because of it.
What are some of the strategies you use to help people do that?
One thing I do, and I think it's really important, is I help people to empower themselves. I think oftentimes, especially when we're grieving, we want to isolate, we want to think to ourselves we don't have choices. But the truth is we absolutely do have choices. So I help people stand back from the pain that they're feeling and say, what can I choose to do so that I can take back control of my life? And as I do that, what's really important is to give them the tools so that they can eventually not need to work with me and work on their own.
And Dr. Rollins, grief comes in so many different stages, right? How do you get a person through those stages? I mean, I know that it's tough. Each person has their own grief.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is getting them to tell their story.
Okay.
You know, author Brene Brown says, everybody has a story and your story matters, but not everybody gets a chance to tell their story. So we create a very safe space where they can tell their story, and it doesn't matter what you've been through, there's nothing that can shock us. So tell your story, and then when you see it in front of you, we decide, okay, what do you want to do now? And then you decide about strategies to get you where you want to be. It's not about someone else saying, here's what you should do. It's about the answers being drawn from within you, because that's where your power is.
That is powerful. Everyone has a story. And on another note, I guess I'll ask you to tell a story. You were on a few episodes of the Real Housewives of Potomac, is that right?
Yes, yes.
What was that like, and what was your involvement?
It was surreal, because I don't advertise my services in general, and somehow they found me. And it was a chance for me to take my power back, because initially I'm like, oh, I can't do this.
Right.
And something inside me and a really good friend said, you absolutely could. And it was a really great experience, and it taught me that money and recognition doesn't keep us from being able to deal with money and recognition don't keep us from struggling with issues. That we oftentimes say, if I had more money, if people knew me, life would be better. And that's not true. It is truly empowerment and being able to find the right resources so that we work ourselves through life struggles. And that's what I did.
I need you to repeat that, because many people, that is very important. Many people think, oh, if I make it big, or
all the money in the world,
Could you share that message one more time?
It's interesting, yes, because money and recognition are not the answers. Because I always say grief magnifies what was already there. So if I'm confused, if I'm sad, if I have low self-esteem, when I get money and I grieve, it's going to magnify what's already there. Instead, what we need to do is find the resources and skills and strategies now, so that when I do get the money and recognition, I can walk into that feeling empowered and powerful. And I think everybody has the chance to do that.
That is powerful.
And I know there's just so much I want to talk to you about, Dr. Rollins. The CDC, you were recently granted funds from the CDC. Can you explain
Yes.
what happened?
So the Whole Heart Center started with grief from death, and we realized we also grieve life. What I also realized is when I help them with their mental health, it's not as effective if I don't help them with their total health. So we changed our mission to deal with the total health of people. And in doing that, we just applied for a CDC Foundation grant, and we're one of 7 organizations across the U.S. selected to work on building a coalition to deal with the total health of our community. And again, it's the same principle. We put the power back. We're not going into the community saying, oh, you poor folks, here's what you need to do. Instead, we say, talk to us. Let's figure out strategies together. That's where our power is, and that's where the solutions are.
That is incredible.
Very powerful.
And real quick, can you just tell people your website if they want to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. You can either go to drdeniserollins.com or you can go to wholeheartcenter.org. In both of those places, you'll be able to find me and the people who work with me.
Dr. Rollins, thank you so much for joining us. I've said it 3 times, it was powerful. It was great
Very.
to talk with you.
Thank you.